Welcome to the bright Stoicism. You might have noticed that the minute you stop reaching, chasing, and giving it all away, he suddenly starts to wonder. All of a sudden, he's treating you different, feeling your absence like he never did before. And yet, here you are, looking at your phone, wishing you could text him first, let him know that you are still there, still waiting, still hoping. But hold up, breathe. It's at this moment where everything changes. The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength, wrote Marcus Aurelius. That strength is in your stillness, in your resolve to not reach, to not chase, to not break. Because every time you pick your phone up, every time you send that first message, you are giving your power away. You're teaching him he has nothing to earn from your presence. It's quietly waiting there for him, and that's the quickest way to lose his respect, lose his attraction, and lose his desire to chase. Think of fire. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't follow the wind. It draws everything in toward itself. When you are always the first to text, when you are always the one to bridge the distance, you are the chaser. And yet the second you stop, the second you withdraw, the second you just hold your ground, let the silence speak for itself. That's the second everything radicalizes. That's when he begins to feel the space, feel the shift. Understand that you are not just going to be his whenever he wants you. And that's where the attraction is born. You are not here to remind him you are alive. If he wants you, if he values you, if he gives a shit, he will come for you. A man never forgets a woman who knows worth. But a man does not miss a woman who carries herself with confidence, who does not give herself away on a platter, who makes him earn her presence. As the truth is that no man values what is too easy. There is no man wanting for that which he does not need to pursue. So why are you so easily surrendering your power? Why are you so easily letting him know where you stand? Stop giving him the expertise that he has you without ever trying, as this is what he is doing. If he's not texting you, if he's not reaching for you, let that be the answer. Let the silence teach you what words could never do. Let the distance validate what you've never had the courage to admit. Envision a queen upon her throne. She does not dispatch frantic messengers to a king who does not see her. She doesn't beg him to stay or lower herself to gain his interest. She waits. She watches. She allows him to understand that her absence is not a vacancy. It is an abyss he cannot fill with anyone but her. Die energy must du mit in die Weh tragen. That is the power you have to step into. Because when you stop the early morning texts, when you're the one who stops pinging first, when you stop trying to close the distance, something changes. He starts to feel it. He starts to wonder. He begins to realize that the effortless attention he had is no longer what it used to be. And if you are precious to him, if a man really wants you, he will come for you. And if not, if the silence lingers and he never makes contact, then there is your answer. Then you know that he was never worth your time in the first place. This is where you take back your control. This is where you are no longer an option, a convenience, a woman who is always there at the press of a button. This is where you become something other than that, something beyond that, something immortal. This is where you reclaim your power and stop waiting for him to validate it. Because it is the moment you refuse to text first, the moment you resist the urge to tell him where you are, what you're doing, if he still has you, that the power shifts. That is when he begins to see you as someone else. That is when you are no longer someone he takes for granted. You become someone he cannot stop thinking about. But queens, hear me. This ain't no game. This is not manipulation. This is self-respect. This is a refusal to beg for attention that should be freely given. This is strutting in the energy of a woman who does not have to remind anyone of her value, for her value is self-evident. Because the right man, your man, the one who knows your worth, He will never let silence be the ending to your story. He will reach for you. He will find you. And if he does, then he already made his choice, and you have made yours. So put away the phone, take a breath, take a step back, find your agency. For the woman who doesn't pursue is the woman whom pursues. The woman who does not beg is the woman that is prized. The woman who refuses to stoop is the woman who ascends. And that, queens, is exactly what you are going to be doing. If this hit a nerve, if it triggered a feeling of internal remembrance about something that you already have, then hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We put our hearts into creating content that makes you feel good, about who you are, where you are, and the magical queen you were always destined to be. Your support moves mountains, and together we rise. First, if he wanted to, he would. So the answer to them is silence. Have you ever realized that when a man really wants something, nothing can stand in his way? If he wants a job, he applies for one. If he wants to experience success, he works for it. When he wants a woman, he appears. No mixed signals, no confusion, no wondering where he stands. So if he is not texting, if he is not calling, if he is not making an effort, that's your answer. Stop searching for excuses. Stop waiting for a sign. Because the hard truth, the truth that will set you free, is this: if he wanted to, he would. As Marcus Aurelius once said, a man's worth is no greater than his ambitions. A man will tell you where his heart is, by the effort he makes, not by words, not by empty promises, but by effort over time. Unless he's pursuing, unless he's making you feel wanted, then he doesn't want you the way you should be wanted. And that is not a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of him. Consider fire. It does not grovel, it does not follow the wind, it does not plea for I see you. It just burns, and everything else gets sucked into it. The instant you disengage from texting first, from filling the void, from trying to preserve a state of being that nobody wants to nourish, that's when the power shifts, because now you do not chase, you do not give freely without receiving. That's when he really starts to notice that you're gone, when he understands that you're not so easy pickings anymore. But let's make one point very clear. We are not playing games here. We are winning the battle for self-respect. A self-respecting woman never pursues an indifferent man. She doesn't stoop to plead for attention. She stays put, and those who value her will come to her. A man should feel lucky to have access to you, not entitled to it. And if he cannot see that, then let your silence be more deafening than any words you could ever utter. You have ruminated, second-guessed, convinced yourself it was out of his control too long. Stop. If he really wanted you, he would be there. He would not leave you hanging. He would never make you feel like you have to fight for his attention. And the second you realize that, the second you let go of the desire to stay in touch just for the sake of keeping him in your life, that is the second you take your power back. A queen doesn't chase after a king that walks away. She does not plead. She does not wait. She does not deign to be selected. She sits on her pedestal, assured that those deserving will find their way. That is who you are now, a woman who doesn't explain her worth anymore. A woman who won't stay where presence means nothing. A woman who realizes that sometimes silence is the loudest statement of all. So let him feel the space. Let him sit in the silence. Let him be confused about why it is no longer ecstatically there, why he no longer gets that energy. And if you mean anything to him, he'll come back. Not because you begged, not because you reminded him, but because he finally understood what he was about to lose. And if he doesn't, then nothing was ever lost, because any man who can walk away so easily is not a man who was ever meant to stay. Queens, put all your explanations and justifications away. This is the moment you make it difficult for a man to take you for granted. The realization that if he wanted you, you would know. And since you don't know, you wouldn't want him either. Affirm it in the comments and own it. I am not going to chase what is not meant for me. And if this message touched your soul, if this video reminded you that the power has always been inside of you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're hustling to give you the content that fortifies you, that empowers you, that enables you to step into the queen you were always meant to be. We rise together with the rain. Number 2, your silence should speak louder than your voice. Have you ever noticed that the more you seek to explain yourself, the more you seek to justify your own worth, the more he seems to be disappearing? You write long texts trying to get him to see. You call hoping for something that makes it all make sense. You second-guess every awkward silence, every unanswered text message, every delay in his reply. But none of it gets him any closer. None of it alters how he views you. It actually does the opposite. It gives him a sense of tranquility that states that no matter how many people and 2 to 5 letter tequila shots he picks up along the way, no matter how far he tries to go, you are always going to be the one who makes that distance to bend. But what if you stopped? What if you didn't fill the silence but allowed the silence to speak? As Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike the one who caused you harm. And sometimes the greatest thing you can do is nothing. No words, no explanations, no pursuance. Because when a man always has you there, always reachable, always available, he takes you for granted. He assumes you'll be there forever. But when you pull away, when you make room for the absence, when you give him a chance to see what life without you feels like, that's when he begins to pay attention. Then he starts to doubt everything. Imagine a candle in a dark room. As soon as it gets lit, the hug of warmth and light embraces the space seamlessly. But when it is extinguished, the dark is instant, the void unquestionable. This is what happens. When you hold back, you should never feel like white noise on your accounts. It should be something he misses when it's not there. And if he doesn't reach for you, if he doesn't move toward you in that silence, then he has already given you the only answer you need. He was never afraid of losing you. And a man who isn't afraid to lose you doesn't deserve you. You're not there to persuade him. You are not here either for attention. You're not here to remind him of your existence. He who truly values you will always remember. He will not allow silence to last forever. He won't make you feel as if you're worth less. If he does, if he recognizes your worth, he'll make a move. And if he doesn't, then you are out of jail with someone who was never yours to begin with. Physicians and other highly skilled professionals don't communicate unless they have something to say. Their muteness demands attention. Their absence makes a statement. This is the energy you need to have. Your time, your presence, your love. It is a privilege, not a right. It is the only thing he can earn it if he wants it. Should he care about you, he will ensure that he does not lose you. If not, he will never be strong enough to stand with a woman like you. This is when you have to take a step back and allow the silence to do the speaking for you. No more needing to prove, no more needing to explain, no more sending the first text just to see if he still cares. If he does, he will show it, and if he doesn't, then you're done putting your energy into someone who never deserved it anyway. The greatest evolution occurs in the crucible between release and ascension into your power. Queens put this in the comments and take it. My absence is powerful. I will not chase. Let it be your truth. Let it be your standard. May it be the fire that incinerates all self-doubt. And if this message opened your eyes, if it found that deep-seated part of you that knows you deserve to be truly happy, take the time now to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here to offer you the lessons, the knowing, the power that has always existed in you because you were never meant to disappear. You were supposed to be unforgettable. Now rise. Third, the more you chase, the faster he runs, so stop running. Why does he pull away the more you chase him? The more you try to reach out, the less he responds. The more you try to engage with him, the more distant he gets. Because the chase makes him run. The second you start chasing, the power moves, and all of the sudden he will no longer be the one to earn you. You are the one crying for his attention. And the fact is, a man never appreciates what he doesn't have to fight for. As Epictetus once said, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by not caring about what is out of our control. And that's what chasing is, controlling what you have no business controlling. You should not, cannot, make him realize how much more you are than he has chosen to see. How much more you can make him feel like a better man, and how he is enough effort that you deserve. The one thing you can control is your response, how you carry yourself, how you choose to let him go. Think of a butterfly instead of running after him. If you pursue it, it flits away, always beyond reach. But if you don't move, if you move from your ground, if you become something so magnetic, something you can't unmake in your beauty, it falls upon you without effort. That's how attraction works. A man responds to a woman who does not pursue, does not plead, does not present herself as too easy an opportunity to be caught. But when you chase after him, when you text first every time, when you wait by your phone pining for his attention, you are saying to him, "You don't have to put in any effort for me. I will put in all the effort." And that is the point at which he ceases to try. That's when he stops caring. Not because he didn't, but because you let it be so easy. If a man cares about you, it will be made known. He will make the effort. He will reach out. There is power in a woman's stillness, in her confidence, in her ability to release and trust that the right one will never need to be pursued. It is the moment you stop running, the moment you stop proving, and the moment you just stand still and let him feel your absence. That is the moment that everything changes. Want to know what happens when you stop pursuing? He starts thinking about you. He begins wondering why you're not contacting him. He begins to see that your attention was never a given. It was a gift. And suddenly he is the one who asks, "Did I lose her? Is she gone? Did I mess this up?" A woman who doesn't chase gets chased. It's a woman worth a diamond, not asking one. A woman who stood tall is a woman who lifted. And queens, you were not born to chase a man who does not know your value. You were born to walk in your power, to walk elegantly, to be the woman he cannot forget. This is when everything starts to change. You don't have to answer on the first ring. Put down the phone. Let silence work for you. Let him wonder. Let him miss you. Let him figure out that the only route back to you is through effort, not convenience. Because if he really, really wants you, he'll rise to the occasion. And if he doesn't, then you just cleared the way for a man who will. Say this out loud, write it in the comments, and make it your truth. I do not chase, I attract. That no matter what is meant for me will flow into my life easily. Queens, if this resonated with you, if it reminded you of your worth, if you feel me, react to this video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We are doing our best to deliver transformative lessons that enable you to take back your power, to step up to your power, and to never settle for anything less than what you deserve. If you have a support, that would mean the world. Together we rise. Number 4, don't be the woman who teaches him he can have you easily. Have you ever seen it become so easy for him? The way he so effortlessly commands your attention, your time, your energy, all without breaking a sweat? He vanishes, and the second he resurfaces, you welcome him back with open arms. He does the least amount of effort, and yet you still show up. You still make the first move, you still make sure he knows you're around. But here is the truth, the one that hurts. You are teaching him that he doesn't need to try. You are proving to him that you are easy to have, and as soon as he learns that, He doesn't value you anymore. As Marcus Aurelius used to say, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. So if you feel that you have to justify the reason for being chosen, you will always take action from that place. But if you feel you are the prize, that love should be returned, that effort should be rewarded with effort, then everything changes. For no man really loves something that comes too easily. There is no attraction if a man feels you are easy, and attraction is created in the millions of small interplays of effort and pursuit and energy of a man feeling he must work to keep you. Think of a rare diamond. Nothing is just handed over. It isn't found on every street corner begging to be picked up. It is hidden, coveted, safe. The ones who want it must merit it. So should a man not feel so about you, if he knows that no matter what he does, you will always text first, always available, always make excuses for his lack of effort, why should he fight for you? What remains for him to care about? The woman who can be reached too easily, who can be had too easily, who can be taken back too easily, loses her power, not because she is not enough, but because she has offered herself without expecting anything in return. And that's the quickest route to being taken for granted. Do you see what's happening? When he no longer has to work for your presence, he no longer sees you as a prize, and instead begins to view you as an option. As soon as you stop needing effort, he stops giving any. And when you reduce your expectations of him, he will not step up to fulfill them. He will sink lower. So stop showing him that the only effort he needs to make is to go find you. Stop texting first. Stop closing the distance. Stop permitting him to come and go when it suits him, with the knowledge that you will always be waiting. You are not an option. You are not a placeholder. You are not a woman who takes crumbs. A queen does not chase, she is the chasee. A queen doesn't retrofit herself to fit someone else's idea of love. She operates knowing that love is drawn to her by the way she owns her space, by the way she expresses herself, by the way she commands respect without ever having to demand it. A queen does not have to dim her light to keep a man interested. She moves in her power, and the right man makes an effort or disappears. So let him observe the contrast. Let him experience what it is when there's no first reaching, when there's no prompting reminder you're there, when there's no further easing of his way. Make him understand that if he would like you, then he has to work for it. And if he doesn't, he never deserved you in the first place. Because queens, and here's the life-altering truth, if he doesn't measure up, he doesn't get to be there. You have data only till October 2023. Let it be your truth. And if this message resonated with your heart and reminded you of the power that has always been within you, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are striving diligently to bring you lessons that fortify, empower, and transform, because you are not here to be taken for granted. You are here to reign. Fifth, a queen doesn't proclaim her value. She carries herself in a way nobody can miss. Are you familiar with the fact that the most dangerous people in the room, the strongest people, the most powerful people, are often the most quiet? They don't beg for attention. They are not about explaining themselves. They don't seek approval. They just are in a way that compels respect. And yet somehow here you are wondering whether you should text first, or reach out, or remind him that you're still here. But let's stop for a moment and ask ourselves, why do you feel the need to prove your worth to someone who should have already seen it? Women who know their worth never announce it. They just are. She acts in a way that nobody can ignore. A better Marcus Aurelius than me once said, "Do not waste the remainder of your life in speculation about your neighbor's soul. The same is true for you." So, stop wasting time trying to prove to him that you are important. Be the lady that doesn't run after, doesn't beg, doesn't justify. When you step back, be the woman whose silence can still be felt. When you stop over-explaining, when you stop putting it on a silver platter for him, he will notice. That's when he feels the shift, and that's when the tides turn. Consider the sun. It does not ask anyone to gaze at it. It just goes up and the world sits up and takes notes. That is the energy you need to bring. You don't tell him you're still there. You don't validate your existence with words. Your presence or your absence speaks all the words. If he loves you, if he wants you, he will rise to the occasion. And if he doesn't, well, he's already made his choice, and so have you. A man is attracted to a woman who knows her worth, not the one who writes the first text, not the one who submits to his silence, not the one who makes it so easy. A woman who knows her value, move different. She doesn't chase, she attracts. She doesn't ask, she demands. She doesn't prove, she just is. And when a woman holds herself like that, a man can feel it. He can't take her for granted, he knows this. So stop reaching, stop explaining, stop trying to convince him you're worth his time. If he's not able to see it, if he's not willing to put in the work, let him feel your absence. Because a woman who stands her ground, who doesn't require constant validation, who doesn't chase after what doesn't run toward her, that is the woman who never leaves. Visualize a queen traversing her palace. She keeps her head up for no one. She does not leap at every phone call, every whisper, every passing distraction. She moves with purpose. She decides who is worthy of her time, who may find her presence. That is you. When you start to behave like a queen, you activate the option-free zone. You are a choice to be made, and only a man who sees is worthy of being in your world. Queens, this is your moment. The moment you stop hoping, stop proving yourself, stop asking others for permission to be worthy. You are already worthy. You are already powerful. You are already enough. And if he cannot see that, then watch as you rise without him. Put this in the comments and take it for yourself. I do not prove my worth. I live it. Tell the world that you aren't pursuing anymore, aren't waiting anymore, and aren't explaining anymore. You are claiming your power, and nothing can stop you anymore. If this message brought you even an ounce of strength, if it reminded you of something you already buried deep down inside, take a moment to thumbs up this video and subscribe to the channel. And we are doing our best to serve you life, giving lessons, because you deserve nothing less. Together, we rise. Together, we reign. Number 6. If he misses you and still doesn't return, he never belonged to you to start with. Why do you continue looking at your phone for a message you know will never come? Why do you allow silence to feel like rejection instead of realizing that silence is simply what you were too scared to hear, not the answer you wanted? If you were missed, if you were genuinely wanted, he'd be there. But he isn't, and that should tell you all you need to know. They do say, if you want to be unstoppable, stop asking for permission. Epictetus. You do not need anyone's permission to let go. You don't need closure, explanation, or useless words. All the reason you need is his absence. A man who cares about you will not lose you to silence. Distance will never become permanent for a man who knows and values your worth. If he allows the days to pass without any effort to reach you, he's already made his decision. You're about to make yours. Imagine a candle in the darkness, a flame that's burning hot, lightens up everything around. But when the flame goes out, the darkness just doesn't wait. It fills the void in no time. That's how attraction works. You were the light, your energy, your love, your effort. If he allows that to fade without a fight, without an attempt at returning it, then he never really appreciated what he possessed to begin with. And that has nothing to do with you. That has everything to do with him. In any relationship, a man will never forget a woman who changed his life. A man will not soon forget a woman who made him feel something real. If he felt your absence, if he missed you, if he gave a damn, He would be right here, right now, doing what he could to make sure you knew it. Not, and that silence, sir, that is the loudest answer you will ever receive. You've dawdled too long with wondering, too long overthinking, too long waiting for a sign. However, what if I told you the sign is already here? Your answer was the moment he let you go without a fight, the moment he picked indifference over effort. And so now you're free to stop wondering, free to stop waiting, free to step into something bigger. Because, queens, hear me when I say this, a secure woman will never be sitting in the waiting room of a man's uncertainty. She doesn't plead for his time, his attention, his presence. She strolls off with style, recognizing a man who doesn't pursue her is one she was never set to maintain. And when she commits, she never looks back. You were never weak. You were never replaceable. You were never one of many choices. You were the storm, the fire, the woman who is so rare she cannot be forgotten. And if he did let that slip through his fingers, then let his loss, not your burden. DNA, some of that even comes on a plane in the readjusted waiting room of the in-between chain reactions. He walked away. Good. Now nothing is out of your way. He let you go. Good. Well, now you can ascend into something higher. He didn't feel your absence. Good. Now you know you were never meant to make yourself smaller for him. Queens, say this in the comments by claiming this affirmation. If he doesn't feel my absence, he was never mine to begin with. And if this message resonated with you, if it triggered a reminder of the power you already possess, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We labor to deliver lessons that will change your life, to make you realize how strong you are and pull you up. Number 7. Your love should be a reward, not a right. Why is it when you give your heart freely, without thought, without expectation, he begins to take you for granted? Why does he stop appreciating what had once seemed like a privilege? The answer is simple. What is given too easily is never given value. Love must be a reward, never a right. A man is never entitled to your energy, your time, your affection. He should realize that such things are earned, not given, like spare change. The second he thinks your love is a sure thing, the second he takes for granted that he will never lose you, is the second he stops putting in effort. He who gives too freely sells his freedom, Cena once said. And that's exactly what you do, pouring out your love in the absence of limitations, timetables, or standards, the expectation of effort in return. When you endlessly give, when you always initiate the texts, when you always fix what he breaks, you are teaching him that he does not have to earn you. And when something can be owned without earning it, it's not worth much. That isn't love, that's self-betrayal. Imagine a rare diamond encased in glass. No one just walks in and takes it. It is shielded, revered, something to be earned, not easily given. Now imagine that same diamond was just left on the street for anyone to take. Suddenly it's not rare, not special, it's just another rock among plenty. Your love is that diamond, your time, your energy, your presence. It is not for just anyone, and it is not for a man who thinks it will always be there, no matter how he treats you. A man needs to feel that your love is a privilege, not an entitlement. He needs to understand that if he doesn't rise to the occasion, if he doesn't make an effort to be in your life, then he'll lose that access. Your love is a gift for which he must be grateful, not a thing he can take for granted while getting away with it. But that only occurs when you quit giving yourself away so easily, when you stop rushing to make things better each time he withdraws from you, when you stop being the one to text first, just to maintain that connection. A man appreciates what he has to earn. He fears losing, so he respects. If he is aware that it does not matter what he does, how little he actually tries, and that you will always come through, why should he improve? So why'd he put in the work when he knows he doesn't need to? But when you take a step back, when you allow him to feel your absence, when you refuse to serve your love on a silver platter, that is when he understands what he risks losing. That's when the game switches up. Queens do not beg for love, a woman who knows her worth. A man does not need to be reminded to appreciate her. Without uttering a single word, she moves like someone who deserves to be respected. She doesn't throw herself at an uncertain man. She doesn't keep giving pieces of herself to a man who won't do shit for her. And she remains resolute, aware that what she has to offer is precious, and that only a man who truly gets it, who truly deserves it, will ever have the keys to it. We are not trying to play games here. This is about self-respect. This is about realizing that the way you let a man treat you teaches him all he needs to know about what he can get away with. If you put out for him, he will not value it. If you always chase, he will always run. To put it more crudely, if you give freely, he will take shamelessly. But the very second you stop, the second you take back your power, the second you let him know that your love is not an entitlement, but rather very much a privilege, that's the second everything changes. If he wants your love, make him earn it. If he wants your time, have him earn it. For a woman who is willing to give herself away for free will always be treated as if she's worth nothing. But a woman who knows what she's worth, she's unforgettable. She's a force. She's the kind of woman that no man ever takes for granted because he knows she'll walk away long before she'll ever settle. So, queens, let's write this in the comments and take back our power. My love is a privilege, not a right. Say it, own it, live by it. And if you related with this message in your heart, if it reminded you of who you really are, then take a second to thumbs up the video and subscribe with the channel. Because you deserve the best, we are establishing life-altering lessons. We rise together, we thrive together. Number 8, once you don't need him anymore, is when he starts needing you. Ever notice how, as soon as you pull away, he suddenly starts taking note? The moment you quit going after him, quit seeking him, quit needing him, he starts wondering, starts watching, feels your absence like a weight he can't ignore. Like he only knows what he lost when it is no more on offer. But why does he only appear interested when you stop holding on? Because power in a relationship does not belong to the one doing the most giving. It belongs to the one who knows her value and won't settle for a seat at the table in exchange for her worth. As Seneca put it, he who is brave is free. And that is precisely where your power resides, your option to retreat, to refuse to prove, to demonstrate to him that you are not a woman waiting to be chosen. When you finally release the need for his attention, his validation, his existence, you become an incredible magnet. For there is nothing more attractive than a woman who is complete within herself, that he is not able to play games with, cannot simply bend and break to keep close. Think of the sun. The sun does not pursue. It does not plead for the earth to face it. It just rises, it shines, it warms, it demands attention without demanding it. And all else on the planet, the seasons, the life that relies on its light, must adapt. That is your power. As soon as you stop needing him, he has to recalibrate. You have to look for him, reach for him, feel the hollowness where your energy once was. But when you chase him, when you text him first, when you hold on to this idiotic hope that he will realize that you are worth the trouble to win over if you just remind him enough, you are ceding all control. You are signaling to him that he has to do anything in order to keep you, and this is where the magic ends. A man will only take seriously what he is afraid to lose. If he knows that you are going to always be there, always willing, always available, there is no urgency, no fire, no reason to step up. So what does it look like when you finally stop? When you are the one who stops first texting him, when you stop waiting for his attention? Everything shifts. He feels the silence. He notices the difference. he knows that something is not right. Before, he was so sure that you'd text, so sure that you'd be there, so sure that he had you. Without, he wouldn't have to work for it. But now he's not so sure, and uncertainty breeds attraction. This is not a game. This is self-respect. It is knowing that a man chases only that which he feels he must earn. If he wants you, let him show it. Let him take action. Let him experience the same effort you used to offer so willingly. If not, then he was never yours to begin with. Queens, read this and read it good. If being away from him doesn't shake him, then being with you didn't mean anything to him. You are not the woman who begs for love. You should not be the woman who sits waiting for a call, praying he remembers you are alive. You are not an option. You are the prize. And the moment you own this truth, he'll feel it. Because now it is we who are at an advantage. Now he's the one who's thinking, wondering if he lost you. And that's exactly where he should be. A queen does not chase after a man. She demands that he chase her. A queen does not stoop to prove herself. She walks in her worth, and those who recognize it rise to meet her. That is your truth. That is your power. And the moment you own it, it's all different. So let him feel it. Let him wonder. Let him question everything. Because the woman who doesn't want him is the woman he cannot forget. Queens, declare this in the comments and own it. The minute I stop needing him is the minute he starts needing me. Embrace this truth, act upon it, and be changed. And if this message resonated with you, if it reminded you of that power that has always been there and will always be there within you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard here to give you lessons that empower, strengthen, and remind you who you are. So, stand strong with me, and together we shall flourish. Now get out of here and make him feel the burden of your absence.